But I want to tell you, at 2 years old, my mom left. She's a crackhead. She's an alcoholic. No big deal. Hey, I wouldn't change it at all. It made me who I am. Okay? I think if you suffer when you're a kid, you'll kill it as an adult. I've been disappointed my whole life. At 18 years old, I found sales. I was making straight D's. I barely graduated school. Sales changed my life. First day in sales, I made $1,800. I never imagined I could have that kind of money. I remember I made 120 at 18, 225 grand at 19, and I broke 500 grand at 20 years old. By the way, write this down. The only way to wealth is through self-education. Whoever is willing to self-develop and self-educate the most will end up at the top. Every day you need to get better. Why? Because your children need to look up to you to be their hero. If not, they're going to find another one. Why? Because someone else leveled up while you weren't. You're distracted. I'm just gonna tell you, you gotta totally recreate. Because if you're not willing to do that, you can never become this man. It'll just be a dream. And that's why a lot of people never get their dreams. They don't change.
Andy Elliot, how's it going, baby?
Having the best day of my life, ready to kick some ass.
There you go.
Can we say that?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, good. Then we're gonna kick some ass.
All right, well, you're about to go on stage and talk to 1,000 people right now. A little bit more than 1,000. We actually ran out of seats. But I guess, do you know what you're gonna talk about?
Yeah, well, number one, a lot of people came here hoping to change something.
Yes.
Okay, but hope doesn't change anything. Now, I don't want you to lose your hope, but I want you to understand it's going to take more than hope. It's going to take habits. It's going to take rituals. It's going to take resources. And it's going to take finding some people that have been where you want to go.
Yeah.
The world is your library. If you know what you're looking for, it'll give you what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Everybody came in here today to look for something.
Yeah.
And each one of these speakers has an opportunity to present some things that have allowed them to be successful.
Yeah.
And in 20 minutes, I'm going to bring a set of skills, a way of living, not only to be financially successful, but to have it all.
Okay.
Which is what most people don't have.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that get confused. They hang in the wrong crowds. They end up getting depressed. They end up becoming miserable. They do well for a while, but then they forget about their family.
Yeah.
And that was why we started, was to take care of our family. So that'd be silly, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in this room is here because they want something. And I'm going to bring it. So for 20 minutes here at 2 o'clock, I'd say in probably an hour. Yeah. Every motherfucker out here is getting their life changed.
I love it. All right. So I guess people are going to look at you right now and they're like, dude, this guy's on level 10. He's freaking jacked. He has a, beautiful family. He has everything together. Like, have you been like that? Did you come out the womb kicking ass?
Absolutely not. It wasn't always that way. Number one, my mom left when I was 2. Okay. So let's just talk about, it doesn't matter where you've been. What it matters is where you're going. So today is going to be a good, fresh start for a lot of people. There may be people in this room that have money, but they're not fulfilled. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to bring that. Okay. There may be people in this room that are ready to start a new journey, that maybe just left a W-2 job, they're getting out on their own, and they don't know who to believe in or what to believe in. And we're going to tell those people how to do it. Okay. But I want to tell you, at 2 years old, my mom left. She's a crackhead. She's an alcoholic. No big deal. Hey, I wouldn't change it at all. It made me who I am. Okay? I think if you suffer when you're a kid, you'll kill it as an adult. I see a lot of people that get babied as kids, babied through high school, and then they get smoked as an entrepreneur, as an adult. Yeah. Why? Because disappointment is hard to take. I've been disappointed my whole life. At 18 years old, I found sales. I was making straight D's. I barely graduated school. Sales changed my life. First day in sales, I made $1,800. I never imagined I could have that kind of money. I remember I made 120 at 18, 225 grand at 19, and I broke 500 grand at 20 years old. And I'm going to tell you this. This is important. It's funny because it's called a WealthCon, right? WealthCon podcast. Is that what this is?
Wealthy Investor.
Wealthy Investor podcast, right? But it's about wealth. By the way, write this down. The only way to wealth is through self-education. Whoever is willing to self-develop and self-educate the most will end up at the top. If you want to dissolve your competition, dissolve them. They don't even exist. Self-improve every day. Most people self-improve just enough to make $250,000, $1 million, and then they slow down. I'm not slowing down. You know why? Because this universe is very giving. It'll give you whatever you want. Yeah. All of it. But every single day you got to get sharper. Okay. So I believe in skill stacking. I believe in totally recreating. I believe you have to reinvent yourself every day. No bullshit. No social media talk here. Every day you need to get better. Why? Because your children need to look up to you to be their hero. If not, they're going to find another one. You'll come home one day and you'll realize that you're not your kid's hero no more. Why? Because someone else leveled up while you weren't. You're distracted. Your wife doesn't admire you no more. Okay, my wife admires me. You know why? Because I remember there was a day when she didn't. And it drove me crazy. I was just an average guy. Better than most, but still average. So there's some leadership tips. By the way, in order to become that leader, I'm just going to tell you, you got to totally recreate. Because if you're not willing to do that, you can never become this man. It'll just be a dream. And that's why a lot of people never get their dreams. They don't change.
All right, so last two things I want to ask you before I let you go.
Let's
All
go.
right, so you're CEO of a business, right? What do you do every day?
What do I do every day?
Yeah.
Well, number one, my wife's the CEO of our business, and
Okay.
she's a badass. She runs our business. She is the backbone of our business. And I said, take your family with you. She is an absolute savage. And
Okay.
her name's Jacqueline Elliot, and she's a killer.
Okay.
Okay. I am the face at most cases. I speak, I talk, I influence, I persuade, I motivate. I lead by example all day long. I'm on the front line with my men all day long. If I'm not in a speaking event or I'm not training, I'm on the front line. On the front, not the back. Most leaders are in the back in their office. I don't have an office. I don't need one. I'm with my team all day long. Okay? And most people forget where they came from. Most people prayed for the life that they have now when they're going to lose it and give it back, and their employees are going to go work for someone else. You know why? Because they don't appreciate their people anymore. My guys are my life, men and women. Okay? So my day, what does it look like? I'm on the front lines of my team unless I'm traveling. By the way, at the gym nonstop, okay? Because I choose health over money, which allows me to slaughter money, okay? Also, I'm with my children. Our children come into our company, our workplace all the time. They're 7, 10, and 12. We treat them like entrepreneurs. We don't treat them like little kids. We treat them like badasses. We don't feed them ice cream to make them feel good. We give them the direct truth. And they're killers because of it. We don't want to give down. You talk about wealth. We don't want to give wealth to our kids. We want to give habits to our kids. Generational habits oversees everything else. So that's what I do for a living, is that I just continually set the example for my team. So when they're down or they're not thinking something's possible, they see me doing it, and I'm the person that's there for them. And that's called a mentor.
Got it. All right, last question. I guess, how does someone become the best salesperson possible?
Become the top 1% in your industry, the top 1%.
How?
Number one, you got to be a great speaker. Okay. So what I would tell you is this: the way that you articulate your words, however you sell your product, do you sound like your competition? Do your words sound the same? Do you have the same language? When you look at people, right? Do you smile with your eyes? Do you smile with your mouth? Can you speak while you smile? If you can't, you're never going to be at the top. Do you use your hands? Do you have good posture? Okay. Do you have 5x5? What 5x5 means, you learn the top 5 objections in your industry, and you learn 5 different ways to handle every one of them. Also, you must be closed more than anyone else in the world. Why? Because you can't close anybody if you're not closed. When you're talking to me, you'll give up on your beliefs and believe what I believe if I'm truly closed. You feel me?
Yeah.
During this podcast today, you're probably talking to me and there's some things that you're thinking about changing. I'm positive of it. Why?
Yeah.
Because if I believe it enough, you're like, shit, man, there's not a lot of people that believe like that anymore. The eyes are the windows to the soul. My eyes, you can see straight to my soul. I can see straight to yours. I can see all these people's soul here in a minute. When you're talking to a customer, they can tell whether you care. They can tell whether they're important, they're significant, they're the only thing that matters, or they can tell whether you're distracted and they're just another number. So if you want to be the best, out-care everybody, self-improve every day. Don't study enough just to learn some quotes, right? Don't study enough to just learn enough to make you a little money. No, if you want to be the best, like I said, dissolve the competition completely where there are none. How? Well, you speak, you talk, you influence, you persuade, you paint pictures, you tell stories, you learn the 5x5 rule, 5 objections, 5 different ways, right? You be deadly at it. You make sure that when you're with somebody, you are there with them while you're there. Be where your feet are.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then lastly, I'm just going to tell you, you have to be great on the phone. You have to be great in person. And in the world right now, since COVID and everybody had to wear a mask and stand 6 feet apart, a lot of people forgot how to care about people. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
A lot of fake motherfuckers running around. Okay. We can't be one. Okay. So be the example for yourself, for your team, for your family, for your clients. And I promise you'll be the top 1% if you pursue hard work, making sure that you never let your why go or never let your health go. By the way, if you're going to be top 1%, you got to be healthy. Because you're not going to compete against me if you're not healthy, because you might do it for 3 years, but after 3 years, you're going to die. what's the value of making all this money than leaving it to your family and someone else gets to live with them because you're sick or dead now? Okay. We handle a lot of stress as top salespeople. Okay. Got to stay healthy. So a lot of people don't talk about that. They really don't care. And I can tell by looking at their bank account and reflecting it, or going home and talking to their family. They're sleeping in the same bed and they're miles apart. Okay. So I believe in having it all. So anybody that just heard this podcast, just clearly you can tell that I have one thing that I'm interested in, earning it all and having it all. And that's it.
Beautiful. All right, guys, this was the Wealthy Investor Podcast. We are out.